Welcome back to the Chess Problem Challenge. Today's topic is checkmate with the pawn. Let's start with problem number 49. In this problem, we have the white king on g6. We have the white pawns on g7 and h6. And the black king is on g8. Please pause and find checkmate in 1. Okay, let's take a look. The black king is stuck. He cannot go anywhere because the white pawn is blocking the squares f8 and h8, and the white king is blocking squares f7 and h7. This means that if we take the pawn on h6 and push it up, this will be checkmate. Okay, let's move on to the next problem. In this next position, we have the king on e4. We have the rook on a7. We have the pawn on d4. And for black, we have the king on e6 and the pawns on g6 and f6. Please pause now and find checkmate. Okay, let's take a look. The black king cannot go to the 7th rank because the white rook is blocking the whole line. The black king cannot move on the 6th line either because his own pawns are blocking that escape. And the black king cannot go down because our white king is blocking all those squares. So if we take the white pawn on d4 and push it up one square, this will be attack to king and checkmate. Let's move on to problem number 51. So in this problem, we have the white king on f4. We have the white pawn on g2. We have the black king on h4. And we have the black pawns on h5 and h3. Please pause now and do your best. Okay, let's take a look. The black king is stuck. He cannot go anywhere because the black pawns are blocking his escape from top to bottom, and the black king cannot go to the left because of the white king. So this means if we take our white pawn on g2 and push it up one square up to g3, this would be attack the king and checkmate. Let's move on to problem 52. In this problem, we have the white king on g1. We have the white pawn e7. We have the black king on g8 and black pawns on f7, g7, and h7. Now it's a good time to pause and find the best move for white. Okay, let's take a look. The black king is stuck on line 8. So if we push our white pawn from e7 to e8, we could exchange it for a queen, rook, bishop, or knight due to pawn promotion. So there's two answers here. We could exchange it for a queen, which would be checkmate, or we could exchange that pawn for a rook, which also would end up in a checkmate because the queen and rook would both block the 8th line. Okay, let's move on to problem number 53. In this position, we have the white king on g1, the white rook on a7, the white pawn on c7. The black king is on g8. Please go ahead and pause and find checkmate. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Here the black king can actually go into any square. So the move that white has to do has to be extremely strong to block all the possible squares of escape plus attacking the black king. This is achieved by moving the pawn up to c8, and now again we have two answers. We could exchange that pawn either for a queen, which then have the rook on a7 block the 7th line, and the queen would be blocking the 8th line, or we could have exchanged that pawn for a rook, which also would block the 7 and 8 lines and declare checkmate. Now let's move on to problem number 54. In this problem, we have the white king on f8. We have the pawn on g6. And for black, we have the black king on h8, the black bishop on g8, and the black pawn on h7. Please pause now and find the strongest move for white. Okay, let's take a look. The black king is stuck. He has nowhere to go. So if we take our pawn on g6 and push it one square up, this would be checkmate, because the king would be attacked and our pawn cannot be eaten because the white king is defending the pawn on g7. This is checkmate. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.